there's the whole idea of, that book, The Game, and the younger crowd coming in and completely changing the way the sales process goes, just from the fact that they have a completely fresh start. So how are you noticing this, and how does this mean that there's an urgent need for senior sales representatives and companies that are kind of the old style to update it, or is this just a myth?
I'll take an observation on that. It's almost where we mentioned in the book, but I've been doing further work with a woman. She's at the Institute for Social Research at University of Michigan here, and just a brilliant researcher. And what they've seen is that since the year 2000, that there's been an empathy crash. Mm-hmm. And that means that, and they did it through 30 to 40 years of doing assessments with college students on how much empathy is about, do you understand someone else and do you care? And what we're finding is that the number of people who would identify themselves as caring about others and feeling badly when someone experiences misfortune in that it's dropped. It dropped like 40% over the last 10 or 12 years. And it's that, and so if I look at that and I translate that into what does it mean in the sales world, I think what you have is people that don't. We're losing the capacity to connect with others. I think you get a lot of people that don't have the human skills. My youngest daughter, I mentioned, is 19, but when she was about 15, 16, it was at a meeting that there was a bunch of adults and a whole bunch of athletes. She's a soccer player. And I would tell you that in that room with friends in that, those 16 or 15-year-olds would rather text each other than talk to each other.
Well, that's kind of why I was asking about the technology piece. I really think a lot of that has based around the technology and the facelessness of technology nowadays, right?
We know we're losing the ability to read nonverbal.
But I think the nice thing about that is I always look at there's always an opportunity wrapped around that. And, to use a text and be faceless, that's easy. Anyone can do that. But, if you can do that, but also put that human element in and start doing the empathy, get the empathy chip, I guess. I'll steal that from Jennifer Aniston when she was talking about Brad Pitt when they broke up. But you get that empathy chip, and you play that. I mean, you could be gangbuster probably in sales if I would imagine, because you really differentiate yourself. Would that be a fair assessment?
It'd be spot on.
I think it'd be a very fair assessment, because as we're seeing scores in empathy go down, the scores in customer satisfaction have remained the same, meaning that when you do customer satisfaction surveys, what is the difference between a customer being satisfied and highly satisfied? It invariably comes down to the human contact. It's not the product performance. It's not the company. It's almost invariably what made you highly satisfied. It was something to do with the human contact in the organization. So that has remained constant. As this empathy thing has gone down, it's an easy way for salespeople to distinguish themselves in the new world.